No, I'll text you. We're good. It's not that much. We'll square it out tomorrow.
This Coast to Coast Entertainment Network program is brought to you by Beside Me Bracelets. Our bracelets are handmade for any occasion. Use the promo code Coast to Coast for 15% off. Visit their website at besideme.com. Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry. With 24-hour shopping available, use the code 160920 and show her some love, like she showed us. Reaper Apparel Company, a commitment to live your most authentic way every single day. Visit reaperapparelco.com for more information and a look at all of their apparel offerings. And by Good Day Embroidery, your local source for custom embroidery, screen printing, and more. Log on to gooddayembroidery.com for more information.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. I am Ace, and you are watching another episode of Sportsminute tonight. I have my co-hosts with me for the evening. Number one, we have that man that we call Mr. Big Game James. James, how are you doing tonight, my man?
What? No, I'm doing good. Good to be back on Sportsminute. There's some interesting topics as the NFL mini training camps, have started. Guess what, Ace? The Raiders are training about 35 miles away, and I can't see them. It's private. Ace is on mute.
Nope. I'm good. Sorry, I was moving. Yeah. So wait. So you don't? I thought most of the time, they usually open those up to the public, though.
Yeah, no, because the Rams and Chargers are the local teams in the market. The Saints are also nearby, and the Cowboys. And then you have the Raiders. And those you can't see because they're not the local teams. Or else I'd be up there tomorrow, definitely going in. It sucks.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. Are you going to watch any of them, or?
Whatever I get on my Instagram feed.
Oh, okay. Okay, on your Instagram feed, I like it.
It's
okay.
free.
Big B, how are you doing tonight?
Nah, I'm doing okay. Been a while since I've been on, but we all know Wednesday's poker night, and it did not go so well tonight. Lost some pretty big hands tonight, but always good to talk sports.
I love to hear your poker update. So thank you so much for telling me.
Definitely missed those.
Yeah, the poker updates are always fun. Going into our very first topic of this one to me was actually an exciting topic that I was waiting for it. That I'm like, oh yeah, I can't wait till we do this one. Our first one, we're doing the Mount Rushmore of fictional baseball characters. And I see James already has the bat in his hand. He's got it up to his shoulder. He's ready to knock a home run out of the park here. He is completely ready for it. So, James, we'll go ahead and we'll kick this off with you. Your Mount Rushmore of fictional baseball characters. Who do you
How
got?
many faces can I really have?
4.
Damn it. Okay. Crash Davis of Bull Durham. I just like how the story came about from an actual minor leaguer, career minor leaguer. And Kevin Costner played him so well. The fact how he tried to keep that young stud pitcher level-headed the whole time, helped him with his post-game comments instead of saying, what was Tim Robbins saying? Like, oh, yeah, it was far out there. I mean, yeah. And then Costner on the bus was giving him like actual lectures and, what complete sentences, I should say. That was really cool. Second one is another catcher, Jake Taylor from Major League. I don't know why. I kind of relate to him because I'm getting older. But remember, I think the scene, I think they're at spring training, and the fear of opening the locker to get that red tag. And he's like, Jake, it's only your life. And he opens it, and luckily there's no red tag in the locker. I kind of think to myself of that scene every day, and I say, James, it's only your life, and go, find out if I, done successful or not. But yeah, he works from, being older, and he gets the, I think, most important contact of the movie in that game, of that movie in that game, the bunt that brings home Willie Mays Hayes to score. So yeah, he's number 2, definitely on the Mount Rushmore. Stan Ross for Mr. 3000, played by Bernie Mac. I love that one. I love that movie. All the little things he says, being a Mr. 2999 and having his own ice cream truck at the end of the movie. Just all the little things he said, trying to get back into shape. And I always remember the scene. I think he's working out and doing push-ups, and the guy's like, no, girl push-ups don't count. And he's sweating like hell. He said, who said girl push-ups don't count? And I just love that part too, and everything he says. He has that trick play at first base. Okay, the third, no, how many I have? Another one. I have the last one. Pedro Serrano of Major League 1 and 2. Where do I start? From the time he meets Roger Dorn, and he has the, he meets him, and Dorn has the not caddy, but he has the things on the golf clubs to keep them, clean or whatever. And he takes one of those covers and he puts it on his bat, and he's like, I'm gonna take this and keep bats warm. And all the other things, having, balls from Takanaka, carrying the bat around when he hits a home run, that dramatic home run in that game against the Yankees. That was cool too. Needing a bucket of chicken. Needed to sacrifice a chicken before the big game. And Jake Taylor says, I'll just give him a Kentucky Fried Chicken bucket. So I love that. So those are my 4. I have honorable mentions, though. Jack Parkman from Major League 2. There's always some scenes in there I like to think of myself as, like, where he doesn't give people high fives as he hits a home run. He's talking to the media, and he says, well, I'm the only winner here. The rest are all losers. And I feel like that sometimes. And it shows you the 90s era, 80s and 90s era, where it's all about, ego. And I think Jack Parkman, and how he does that little shimmy at the plate where he's like this, and it drives the women wild, as Harry Doyle would say. And then when he came back, or no, what was it? I think Harry Doyle mentions oh yeah, it drives the women crazy. Personally, it makes me sick. So I love that part. And then Willie Mays Hayes, of course, how he came into training camp, he overslept. Well, first he parked his vehicle in the wrong spot. He overslept. He got up in pajamas, barefoot, sprinted to beat the other 2 players to get over the line first in that race. Lou Brown says, get him a uniform. Gets picked off the first appearance of the first game. Puts his gloves on the wall of how many bases he has stolen. Just so many little things. Basically, it's all from Major League almost. But those are my Mount Rushmore fictional baseball players.
All right, well, those are excellent picks. Big B, who do you have for your Mount Rushmore?
Well, let's see here. I'm going to go with Sandlot. I'm going to go with Jimmy the Jet. That kid could play every position, and I think the iconic scene when he's on third and the announcer, who was his friend, goes, Jet's probably going to have some fireworks or something, and he steals home. So I got to go Jimmy the Jet. I am going to go with both of Kevin Costner's characters as a tie, because both movies are iconic, and you play the pitcher in one and the catcher in the other. I'm going to go with Rick Vaughn is seen on there because the guy comes in and all he does is throw heat, and everybody kind of loves that. My number 4. Let's see here. Trying to think of a big, good home run hitter. I know Serrano was pretty good. Yeah, you know what? I'll go with Serrano. I'll go. No. You know what? I'm going to take that off. I'm going to take off Serrano because I just saw this movie the other day. I'm going to go with Brewster's Millions. I'm going to go with Brewster from Brewster's Millions.
All right, not bad. Those are not bad either. My Mount Rushmore. There's actually one on here that I would actually go with, and that's actually Hamilton Porter from the Sandlot. Hamilton Porter from the Sandlot. If you actually look, I'm actually wearing his shirt now. I've got Porter on my shirt, so I was like, yes, I have to go with Hamilton Porter. I have to. He would be on there. Another one that would actually go on my Mount Rushmore is actually Mel Clark from Angels.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and the reason why Mel Clark would go on my Mount Rushmore is how many times in today's era are you going to hear, "Oh man, that pitcher has to be tired. He's only throwing 156 pitches." So they're going, he threw 156 pitches in a game, and I'm sitting there going,
Huh?
yeah, exactly. And I was like, you won't see that now. So I'm sitting here going, that dude, he lasted every single pitch, 156 pitches. Well, actually, and he ended up more. I think he ended up, because I think he threw like 2 or 3 more pitches after that. So I think he ended up throwing like 159 total. And so I'm like, that was an excessive amount right there. So he has to go on there too. But going back to Porter, the only reason Porter's on mine is because I think his character was awesome. He was so funny in that movie that's why I had to put him on there. Number 3 was Archie Graham from Angels in the Out, or not? Sorry, from Field of Dreams. Archie Graham.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Archie Graham, absolutely. I just had a soft spot for Archie Graham because I like the story behind Archie Graham. He never got that one major league at bat until the very end, and then he had to step across to save the daughter because she was choking on a hot dog. And so he's like, yes, I got my one at bat, and it was a sacrifice fly. And so he got his moment of glory. Oh, were you going to say something?
Go ahead.
No, it's fine. If you're going to say,
I want to look up something about that because ain't that a real character though?
Archie Graham? I don't think so. I think it's a fictional one. I think it's
let me
fictional.
just look because I thought that was Moonlight Graham is actually a real baseball player. He did not. Okay, let me read here. Yeah, so Archibald Wright Moonlight Graham was an American baseball player and a medical doctor who appeared in right field in a single major league game for the New York Giants in 1905. His story popularized the movie Shoeless Joe. So he only played one game.
I will retract that statement. I will change it because it's not fictional. So I will retract that. So because I'm retracting that, I will throw in. I will actually throw in a different one other than that. So the other one that I will throw in is Chet the Rocket Stedman from Rookie of the Year. I'll go ahead and throw.
Whoa, that's a
Yeah,
good one.
yep. I will throw in Chet Stedman. He is on my Mount Rushmore, so he will then overtake Archie Graham, which I seriously thought it was fictional because what's really weird is like when you look on the fictional list of the top 25, he's actually on there.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, so that's what threw me off is because he was on the fictional list.
I didn't know there was actually a fictional list.
Uh, and then my last one. How could you not throw in one person from Major League? And I know you all did. So mine is Willie Mays Hayes, obviously, because
Yeah.
Willie Mays Hayes has to be on my Mount Rushmore. I think he meant so much to that movie. He was probably the funniest character in the movie. So, and it's just like James said, everything he went through in the movie was cut early, taken to the parking lot.
And if I could, maybe you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. The reason why Wesley Snipes wasn't in the second one is because he was filming or was in the process of filming a movie,
Blade?
The Fan.
Oh, The Fan.
Yeah, where
That's
he
a
played
crazy
baseball
one.
player on there. That was a good one too.
Yeah.
I could be wrong on that, but I think that's why he wasn't in the second one.
I always wondered that. I thought maybe it was too good for him.
That could be too, but
You know, Brandon, I was thinking of one, but it was like I can't put Hayward in, but I could put Lou Collins in for big league, little big
Lou
league.
Collins.
yeah,
Yeah.
Welcome back, Lou Collins.
yeah. Or actually, oh god, what was the flamethrower in the third Major League movie?
I remember the slow throwing guy with the glasses.
Yeah, but there was a guy in there.
Oh yeah.
Because I remember the scene where he's on the mound and he throws at the big home run hitter when they're at the Dome, and he gets the ball back and
Oh yeah. The dude that would put the glove, like he would do this with the glove.
no,
He'd have all these mannerisms.
No.
No.
That one.
That was in Rookie of the Year.
Oh, that was Little Big League.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew who you were talking about. The young dude that throws at
He throws the ball
Carlos
Liston. At Carlos Liston.
Yeah, he throws at Carlos Liston and he stands face to face with the ball in his hand. He goes, he goes through his bit. And he goes, "Do you feel lucky?"
That's right.
I know his nickname. His nickname in the movie is Hog.
Yeah, what the hell? Okay.
His nickname.
Remember, he tells the women at the bar. I told him, "You better get back to the plate before I hurt you." I love that.
Yeah.
Part.
And what'd he do? Yeah, well, he grabbed his stuff and he went right back to home.
Yeah. I love that.
I'm like, yeah.
Okay. Kenny Johnson, Lance Pierre.
Nope, that was a catcher.
Rube Baker was a catcher. I think it's Lance Pierre was the pitcher, I'm guessing.
Yeah, his nickname was Hog.
No, Hog Ellis is the pitcher.
Oh,
yeah, Hog Ellis.
Yep.
Hog Ellis.
Oh, there it is. That guy. Okay.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, that's him. Hog Ellis.
Hog Ellis.
Hog was the guy that threw less than what the radar would.
Like that.
Yeah.
Right.
It's weird seeing Carlos Liston in anything else. I don't remember him in anything else, but it's weird to see him.
He was in the Benchwarmers. He was the big slugger, the 12-year-old slugger in the Benchwarmers.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I know you did not just throw a Carlos Liston. I know you did not just throw a Carlos Liston.
I love that.
Because nobody would be dumb enough to throw a Carlos Liston.
Now, if we ever do a coach one, the coach for the Twins in that movie is hilarious.
I like it. Yeah, I like when they go through the scenarios. Yes, Billy
Tim
Hayward.
Bartels. Yep, you're right.
All right. Well,
Tim,
that
why
was
don't you jump on quick?
this was a fun topic. So next week we'll do another one for Mount Rushmores. Maybe it'll be football next week, and then we'll go
what
on.
a teaser! What a
Yep.
teaser! At least with his teasers.
Yep, and then we'll go on to another one after that. All right, so the next topic that we have for you, and this one actually surprised me a little bit because this was something that I kind of wasn't expecting, but we're going to talk a little bit, as much as I don't want to, we're going to talk about Bronny James and how, Steve Kerr came out and was like, yeah, they have to change up the lineup a little bit with Team USA. And so he ended up inviting Bronny James to be on the USA team. And that actually shocks me because he hasn't even played an actual minute in an actual NBA game. And he's inviting him to Team USA. So, James, what's your thoughts on this?
I think you have been had. I couldn't find anything about Bronny James going to Team USA. I think this is a picture from when he was younger.
Yes, because it's not real. I was trying to play a joke on you guys.
Yeah, I was going to question you right away about this.
I actually misread it. So
no, yeah.
Nice try, Ace.
I was seeing if anybody would catch it, and I'm like, is anybody going to catch this?
Yeah, because I thought it said that you were throwing it out there that Bronny James not being invited to Team USA,
no,
and I'm just like I misread it. So.
No, I was legitimately seeing if anybody would catch it, and I didn't hear nothing back, and I was like, all right, I was like, we're gonna roll with it then and see if anybody will catch it. So good job, James. I'm glad you caught that.
I misread it because I would have flipped out if that was effing true. I thought it said Bronny not being invited to Team USA. No.
I will. Trust me, I'm definitely okay with him not being invited there. That is one thing that I'm okay with because you would never invite anybody to a Team USA that's never played a minute in an NBA game. Like
now he can go watch his dad, play. You can see that happen.
About that? Do we remember the 98 team, 96 team that had Leitner on there?
92.
92?
Yeah, because they had to add a college guy. It was either Shaq or Leitner. Well, they didn't want Isaiah, that's why.
Yeah.
They had immunity against Isaiah Thomas, and they was like, you know what? Since it used to be college players all the time, let's add one more.
They could have, yeah, they went with the player of the year that year, and that was still a joke.
Imagine Shaq on that team. That would have been great to see him play like little minutes, and the world would have seen.
He probably got more play than Leitner ever did.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Sometimes I wish I could get things past people, but people tend to.
Well, you would have got to pass me because I would have flipped out on it because like I said, I misread it.
It's not April 1st.
James had to spoil it though. Like I was waiting for like Big B to step in and start talking about it or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll go on to our next one. So let's talk about Brandon Ayuk. So we've heard a lot of rumors about Brandon Ayuk and the 49ers saying, we're not going to trade Brandon Ayuk. We're not doing it. But Brandon Ayuk is wanting to be traded. There's a lot of speculations out there that Brandon Ayuk could indeed, like, if you wanted to go somewhere, I guess he's a big Washington Commanders supporter. So I guess that's like one of his destinations that he wants to go to. Don't ask me.
You know why though?
over there. What?
He has a good relationship with the rookie quarterback they drafted, so that's the only reason they're linking them together. That's the only reason why.
Yeah, and I think they mentioned something about there's a coach on the team that he has a link to also, but I don't know what coach that was, but they said there was some link between him and a coach on the team, and so like that's why the Commanders were linked to Brandon
Jalen
Ayuk.
Daniels. I'm sorry, that's the quarterback's name in Washington now. Sorry, that's him. Duh.
Yeah, but in my mind though, it always made me wonder how they have the link together because they never really played together in college.
No, I was trying to remember what it was, but either childhood friends or something like that, or they ran, by each other. But they would always follow each other on social media and hang out. So that's where the connection comes from only.
Okay. Well, anyway, so going into this, with the 49ers saying that they won't trade him, but Brandon Ayuk is saying he wants to be traded. In the end, who's going to end up giving? Does the 49ers give in and trade Ayuk? Or does Ayuk finally just say, okay, offer me a contract, I'll sign, and I'll stay here? So, Big B, who do you think has the edge here, and what do you think happens? Does Ayuk actually get traded?
It's tough, man, because, personally, if I'm Ayuk, why would I mean, okay, go play with your friends. I get that, but you're still young enough to where, and you're on a good team. You got to be one or two, maybe three teams that should be favored to go to the Super Bowl again. So, if it's 100% contract dispute, I think the 49ers are probably going to blink first and trade him. But if it's just the fact that, he's throwing it out there because he wants to play with his friend and coach and stuff like that he's got, a friendship with, then I think it might be Ayuk might be the first one to blink. But I don't know why teams want to leave or players want to leave teams that are winning. You're there. That's one thing we've talked about quite a bit on this show before and other shows, that a lot of players don't have the loyalty like back in the day when once you got drafted, some chances of you leaving were slim to none, during free agency or even trades. But right now, I would say it's a 50-50. I was just looking up other teams, and of course, Minnesota's always linked to trade rumors, especially things that are going on with Addison, so, and I don't think the Vikings will move on him. I think they're going to stay with their young receiver, Addison, and build around that crew. But, no, if I'm Ayuk, I kind of just, I guess, play it out and make the Niners be the first ones to block and make the move. But, I don't think he'll go anywhere this year at least.
Well, I know what you were saying about, why would he want to leave a team that is competitive and could be predicted to go to the Super Bowl again. I get that, but in the end, if the culture doesn't fit for you, why would you want to stay in a culture that doesn't make you happy? And so,
and that's one thing too. We don't know what's going behind closed doors in the locker room. We just see them on the field. Maybe if we ever get a 49er fan on here, that lives in the city, maybe they can shed some light on what could be happening via media back in the back doors, what they hear. But, they say winning cures all, and they're winning. So I don't know what the problem could be.
Yeah. And so since we're getting to James on this one too, I don't know if you heard the speculation about to where they were talking about a potential trade between the Raiders and the 49ers to where Ayuk could
Man,
end up going to the Raiders, and then Devontae could end up going to the 49ers and kind of doing a swap, receiver for receiver,
huh?
maybe some draft picks in there. I don't foresee that happening. I don't foresee it happening. But when it comes to Brandon Ayuk, what do you see happening?
I don't know where you get your news from. I've never heard that. Never heard that before. And I was thinking to myself, yeah, if we could talk to a Niners fan, well, we had one, and of course we lost one recently. All right. Okay. This Ayuk situation, the saga continues with Brandon. He showed up to camp, but he didn't practice today, and he ran off the field and he met with the GM, John Lynch. My thoughts is at least he's there. He's not not there, and he's not visible, and he's showing at least that he wants to be there in a way where it doesn't hurt the team and he doesn't hurt his image. And that's a far cry from what we thought in the offseason, of course, because all the rumors with Jalen Daniels meeting up with him in Washington, because it comes down to he wants to get paid more. He wants that, not Jefferson money. He knows he can't get that, but he wants close to that. And he knows the 49ers have to pay the others that are there. He also knows Brock Purdy is on a small contract right now, and eventually they'll have to pay him. So where's the money going to come from? And who will outlast each other on the Niners when it comes to long-term contracts? That's why this is all going on. But yeah, at least he's there despite all the trade requests and long-term contracts that aren't there. I did read something really good if you're a 49er fan. John Lynch, the GM, mentioned he does expect Ayuk to be a Niner this season. But I think, in my opinion, just in case an amazing trade offer comes through, they kept him off the field today. But when you think about it, a trade would have made sense before the draft this year. There was all those rumors, remember, that the 49ers were going to trade him, get his replacement possibly, get some more picks that they could get younger later on, if that makes sense. But they could have got more draft picks, and they could have done that before the season. Now, think about this. They could keep him for the season and then franchise tag him ahead of next year's draft and then trade him for 2025 picks. So what they should have done before the draft this year, they could do next year and have a year of his service continuing on. But as of now, Ayuk is only 25, and people want their money quicker. He's heading to his 5th year of his rookie deal, and he's getting paid $14.1 million in his base salary, by the way, which is still a lot for a rookie contract. But he feels like, because he had his best season last year, he had 75 catches, 7 touchdowns, and he stayed healthy for the third straight season. That he feels like, okay, because the league is never guaranteed, that I need to get paid, and I need to get paid right now. But my thoughts is that the 49ers will keep him at least for this season. Let him play out that contract no matter how dirty it gets, no matter how, bad it is through the media. If it does get to a point where it's really bad, they're going to keep him because the ultimate goal, they want a ring, and they know that their window's almost shut when you think about it, when it comes to some of these existing players on the Niners. And he's part of that. And you figure, okay, they're going to have to rebuild eventually. And again, I thought they should have did a trade again before the draft this year, but they can always do it next year and see how he produces. Or he can ball out. They could possibly give him the bag, but then you have to figure out what your other players are going to get or not keep them around. Remember, they did allow subtractions on defense already. They got rid of the older players. So that freed up a little bit of money, but not enough, I think, to keep Ayuk happy in the long term. But I think he'll stay there for this season only.
Yeah, and so James, it's kind of like what you're saying though too, and Big B and all that. The problem is like yeah, fans get excited because they look at this current roster and or when a team's really good, they have a lot of big names and they go, "Oh wow, this team's going to be really good for a long time." The problem is it's harder to do that for a long time. And the reason why is because contracts do come up and start expiring. And so when these contracts come up and start expiring, you have to pay everybody. And you have to find a way to pay everybody. And a lot of times you can't find a way to pay everybody, so you start losing players because of the simple fact that you can't do it. So it's like on the 49ers, Kittle's contract I think is coming up soon. They're going to have to pay him. I think Fred Warner's contract is coming up. They're going to have to pay him. Brock Purdy's is coming up. I think if they want to renegotiate with Christian McCaffrey, I think he has to get there soon. So all these big names, they're gonna have to look at and be like, "Uh-oh, we have to sign these big names." So do we sign Brandon Ayuk and let some of these other big names walk, or do we move on from Ayuk and see what we can get for Ayuk? And those are hard questions to answer. Also, something that came up on ESPN today that I saw, not only like, yeah, so Ayuk was there, but he wasn't like dressed in his uniform or whatever. He was just dressed in street clothes. But not only that, but Trent Williams, I guess there was something going on with Trent Williams too. And so Trent Williams wasn't there, and I guess his agent is now communicating with John Lynch too over some kind of contract stuff. So there's something brewing in San Francisco right now, and it's trying to figure out everything that is going on. And so at some point in time, the 49ers are going to have to make a decision, what exactly do we do? Um, but the one thing I mentioned, James, when I was talking about like Devontae and Brandon Ayuk, it was something that people were saying, if the 49ers were to do that, like, should the Raiders consider that? That was a thing. It was like a prediction thing that people were saying, was that if the Raiders were interested in Ayuk, would you consider taking an aging Devontae and send them to the 49ers
Ooh.
in exchange for Ayuk? Because it is an aging Devontae. So it's like, would you consider doing that? I don't know.
No, I just, it's just too much money being thrown around. I don't think the 49ers want to handle that contract and the possibility of an injury that would really hurt your salary cap as well. For Ayuk, I think he's from the Vegas area too, so I guess there's that part where after the Super Bowl, one of his family members went out and said, "Hey, you need to get traded to the Raiders. You can win the Super Bowl here." Obviously, that's not going to happen. So that's where all the drama started with Ayuk. Right after the Super Bowl, this all started. It's just wild how this has all gone so far.
It has. Big B, what is your thoughts?
By you being linked to the Raiders.
Yeah. Well, he's not. So let me say he's not exactly linked. It's more of
Okay.
a like saying, "Hey, would you do this? Would you trade Ayuk to the Raiders if you were the Raiders? Would you send Devontae and take Ayuk?
Uh,
You know,
I don't know. James, you could probably speak on it more. I mean, they got some decent talent there now with the young receivers. I mean, if they thought it could help you get out of Dante's contract, then yeah, I'd probably do it. But the team that if I was any ownership that had a stake in a team, if I would say if I'm the Bears, I try to make a move on Ayuk and help my young core with the young quarterback become better, and see if that works out. Another team that I would kind of be scared about going after him would be Buffalo or maybe Houston. Houston seems like they want to have the best offense ever. So, but That's why if I'm the Bears, I think I'd throw something out there and kind of see. You're on mute.
All right. So we got everybody's thoughts on the Brandon Ayuk. I think we're all looking forward to see how this plays out and what exactly happens with Brandon Ayuk if he ends up staying a 49er, if he gets traded. I think if he gets traded, I think it's going to definitely be before the season starts. I really do.
It'll be, if he does get traded, it'll be to an AFC team because Niners aren't going to want to watch him in the playoffs if he gets there.
Steelers,
right? Yeah. It would not surprise me because I know the Steelers are trying to load up too. So it definitely would not surprise me at all if the Steelers did that. I mean, I felt like they've already made a ton of moves anyway, so it wouldn't shock me if they went for one more. But sticking with the NFL, we talk about, training camp and OTs and all that. And you see like a lot of these veterans that will like hold out during training camp. They won't show up because of like contract disputes or things come up in their personal life or whatever. And they're like, oh, I can't make it to training camp at this time. I got to go do this or do that. And then a lot of people make a big deal about it. And they go, well, this person should be there for their team. They need to be there. They're holding out because of their contract. When it comes to training camps, do you feel like people are too hard on the veterans and being like, hey, ease up a little bit? They've done their time, and training camp is training camp. It's not like practice. In a way it is, but it's just a training camp. So James, do you think that people make too big of a deal of veterans missing training camp?
By people, I'm guessing you mean the media, right?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, because that's who makes these stories huge, because it might mean trade speculation, or there's some drama with contracts like we're seeing with Ayuk. That's why NFL's king with the news, because everybody wants to know right away, why Trent Williams isn't there. Well, because he's the best left tackle in the game, and he wants to get paid like it. And they see the Ayuk situation happening right there. They want to be a part of the drama too. And it's only day one of training camp. So everybody just loves the NFL, and they love the drama of it. And you mentioned the vets, right, that have gone through the rigor of being a rookie, going to OTAs for the first time, and then going through training camp as a rookie. It's tough when there was the hazing going on back then. You don't have that as much now, or not as harsh. But eventually vets, over 10 years don't want to go through it. And I'll give you an example. Think of Michael Strahan, right? Before the 2007 season started, he didn't show up for a while, and Tom Coughlin did not like that. And then they went on to win the whole Super Bowl, the whole thing. They beat the undefeated, Patriots. So it's little things like that where it's like, hey, you don't want to be there just because you've gone through it before, and you just know, like, hey, I'll just be there for the important stuff. I don't have to be there, just to show up, right? It's as simple as that. So it's good for the media to get us all hyped up on things that may and may not be true. And it's good because, even though there's no games on or going yet, there's at least this talk going on. So, yeah, the media is a big part of it. And, like, I can think about this year of the OTAs, and again, optional, right? The dysfunction of the New York Jets already came out this year. Remember, the coach, Robert Saleh, had to answer why Aaron Rodgers was not there. He was in another country, right? And Sala mentioned, I think, yeah, he should be here. The owner said, it's optional. He doesn't have to be here. So there was already dysfunction already with the Jets. And it's just funny how that goes. And it's just more the media can make up and have fun with and make topics of and make shows about. And there's too many shows like that out there, including this one.
There absolutely is. I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of the same situation with J Love at the moment. He's
Oh yeah.
well, he's there, he's there. He's just not practicing, but he's there. And Sean Clifford, like the backup, is coming out saying, "Hey, when I'm arriving there at 7 a.m., Jordan Love's bags are already there, so he's already in the building. He's doing all the meetings. He's showing up to everything he's supposed to show up to. He's just not practicing." But the media is really hyping it up and saying, it's such a big deal. And Clifford's like, why? He's there. He's going to meetings. He's doing everything he's supposed to be doing. He's just not on the field practicing. So is it really that big of a deal when you think about it? And for some people will tell you it is, and others will tell you it's really not. It's just training camp is all it is. And so
it's all about the money for those hanging, holding out, and that's what it comes down to only.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Big B, do you think that when it comes to training camp, the media makes too big of a deal out of veterans missing it?
They make a big deal out of it. Fans make a big deal out of it. With let's go with Aaron Rodgers. Okay, he had the trip planned. Now, could he have sat with the Jets and say, "Hey, when do we plan on having training camp? I have this trip I want to do." He probably could have. And did he? We don't know. But the Jets knew. They gave him the okay. I don't see a problem with that. Jordan Love, yeah, he's holding in, as they call it, because he's going to the meetings and stuff. To me, I think Jordan Love should get blasted for not partaking. I mean, you're 1 year removed from being a full-time starter. You did good, don't get me wrong, but I think that's something that he should actually be partaking in. If anybody should get rid of, and it's not because I'm a Viking fan, hating on the Packers. I just think that you're only 1 year removed from your starter. Being named a starter, you played good. Now you think you can do what a Aaron Rodgers or a Tom Brady could do, and you can't. To me, I think if you're under contract, yeah, you should be at training camp. Maybe doing what Jordan Love does, going to the meetings but not partaking, or not partaking every day in the training camps, or maybe doing half days. I don't know. That's something that I think veterans to a certain point should earn that after X amount of years. And, but yeah, I think it kind of everybody makes a big deal out of veterans not, being at practice and holding out and wanting more contracts. We all know, and it's been said plenty of times, it's a business. And if they can improve themselves business-wise, they're going to do it, So, yeah, it gets blown out of proportion, I think.
Well, without question, but that's kind of what the media does, and that's what the media is for. The media is supposed to sit there. They're supposed to cause chaos.
Yep.
Because it helps. It's supposed to help them with boost the ratings and get people talking and stir up problems. And the media has done that for so long.
Could you have seen the media outpour if Jordan Ashton would have held out this year on his last year of his deal and tried to get it? I mean, it would have just been a nightmare, just not locally here in Minnesota, but everywhere,
Yeah, and because of his DUI or whatever he got.
No, that was Addison, not Jefferson. I'm
Oh
sorry.
yeah, sorry. I thought you mentioned Addison. Sorry.
No.
I thought you were talking about Addison. But yeah,
No.
Jefferson though, like you can look at Jefferson and you know that Jefferson is possibly the best receiver in the game.
Yep.
He's definitely up there to where people talk about him being the best receiver in the game. And so, has he earned his money? He has. Would he have the right to, sit out if he wanted to? Sure. It's a choice that they make because they want the money. They want to get paid like everybody else. Except when you're a guy like that, you want more than everybody else. And if you
Well,
can't,
and that's the thing is, we talk about this being jobs and stuff for these guys, and they get paid very well. I mean, if we went to our bosses, a company would be like, you know what, I'm not going to work for the next week. I'm going to hold out. I mean, for no reason. I mean, most of us are going to be sitting in the unemployment line within a day or two. So,
yeah, exactly. Because a lot of us, like if we come out and we actually mention and say, hey, we're going to sit, yeah, our companies would be like, well, we'll just find somebody else to do it.
exactly.
But with the NFL, when you're a caliber player like that, they don't want to do that. They want to keep you. So they're not going to say, well, that's fine. You can go walk and go find another team or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the Giants. They took the chance with Saquon. They took the chance and they said, hey, we'll let you go out there, explore free agency, and we'll see what you can find. And then you come back and we'll try and match the offer. That never happened. And he ended up signing with the Eagles anyway. So the Giants kind of screwed themselves over in that one, really bad. But anyways, speaking of training camp, OTAs, people holding out, and various things like that, we'll stick with the NFL side of things. To kind of wrap this up, the final thing that I wanted to talk about was what coaches would you feel like, hey, this year, like this could be it for them. Like they could very well be on the hot seat. Any surprises that you might think of in your mind that you're like, hey, watch out for this coach because he's on the hot seat. And one coach that I will mention right now, like right off the bat, and it's not because I don't like Dallas or whatever. I think McCarthy, if you look at the Cowboys schedule, like their first 5 or 6 weeks, it's not an easy schedule. And Dallas did not get better during free agency. They did not. They actually lost some key players. They didn't really get any better. So if Dallas comes out and let's say they start the season, 1-5 or 2-4, it would not surprise me if McCarthy and I know it's not a Jerry Jones thing. I know it's not because Jerry Jones typically doesn't fire coaches within the season. But if Dallas starts out like 2-4 or whatever, it would not shock me if this time Jerry Jones like, yeah, we need a new leader in the locker room. So I'm gonna get rid of McCarthy. It wouldn't surprise me if he does last the season, especially if Dallas, wins 7-8 games or whatever and doesn't make the playoffs. I can tell you, Mike McCarthy's gone, 100% gone. For Buffalo with Sean McDermott, I think this could very well be it. If Buffalo does not succeed, Sean McDermott could be on his way out also. So all right. So James, any kind of surprise, coaches that you can think of that you're like, hey, this might be it for them.
AFC, I'm gonna definitely go with Doug Peterson of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Man, 2 years ago, they were a wonderful story. They came back to win their division. Last year, reality hit them right in the face, and they let the Texans win their division and stomp all over them. And there's a feeling now the whole organization is just crazy. If you hear about, the Suns owner, or no, not the Suns owner, but somebody who stole a bunch of money from him and they're suing them. But on the field, though, man, they got to get whatever they had, 2 years ago going, or else I think Peterson would be gone. That's definitely going to be a problem there. I should know the coach of Cincinnati, Zach Taylor, without the K. I think Cincinnati is almost at a window because a couple of their receivers, one of them got tagged, but they should have got traded. So I feel like their window's closing, and with Buffalo not being as good as they used to be, it feels like Cincinnati's time, but they have to get through, their division and Kansas City. Also throw in Buffalo and Sean McDermott. They've had a lot of playoff losses that just didn't make sense over the few last years. Their offense is going to be as good this year. That might hurt them. Their defense, they lost a lot of key older players, but that could hurt them. So McDermott, Zay Jones, Peterson in Jacksonville. In the NFC, Dennis Allen of New Orleans, if they don't win their division, I think it's about time to get rid of him. It's just not ever going to happen there, I don't think, with Dennis Allen. Derek Carr can only bring you so much, and then the defense will start to disintegrate too, and that's Allen's pedigree there. I can't really. I would think Tampa Bay's coach would be under fire too. Other from that, what's his name? The dude in with the Giants. I'm losing my mind, but Brian Dable.
Yeah,
I think there's some pressure on him, but when you think about it, the front office has lost everything that they needed to win, and they made the wrong decisions. And Brian Dable, I think, is on the hot seat, but for the wrong reason. He's been given the keys to a broken down, Buick, and it's not working well at all. So those are mine.
All right, Big B, who do you have?
Who do I have left? I mean, James, I think, named half the half the AFC and a few in the AFC. So, McCarthy for sure, I think, is number one. I think if we did a draft, I think that would be everybody's number one pick. James named off a few. I think Mike Tomlin might be on that list.
He just signed an extension, though.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean nothing. I mean, the only thing that'll probably keep him on there is that they're unsure of the quarterback play right now on who's going to play. So, but Tomlin, I think, has been 500 every year that he's there. So, we'll see. Tomlin would be low on my list. He would probably be outside. If I had to put 10 on there, I think he'd probably be 11. I think, but I think his time's coming though. Let me see, who else am I thinking of? The only one that kind of jumps out at me after McCarthy would be Eberflus from the Bears, because they put a lot of stock in Caleb Williams being the guy. So if they don't finish with a decent record, I think he could be out at the end of the season.
Let me also mention a few. Robert Saleh of the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? And then one more, Kevin Stefanski of Cleveland. I think those two are kind of running out of time.
So there was actually one, too, that I was going to throw out there to see if you guys agree or not. But John Harbaugh, because he's been with Baltimore for a long time, and they haven't. Yeah, they've won some playoff games, but they haven't won the Super Bowl in a while. So
he vouches for the quarterback, and I think because you paid the quarterback so much money, you're not going to get rid of his guy. So yeah, I don't see that happening though.
Okay,
not this year. I think that might be our top pick next season, if Baltimore doesn't do anything, I mean, if they finish, outside the playoffs, that might be a guy that we could say, going into the season could be on the hot seat next year. So unless it goes awry, I mean, unless they're at the bottom of the barrel this year, I don't think Harbaugh will be on the coaching block.
Okay, yeah, I just want to throw that out there to see what you guys thought, because we know Harbaugh's been there for a while.
Yep.
So that's why I was just throwing that out there.
I think, what is it? Him and Tomlin are the top two longest tenure coaches.
Yeah. All right. So,
actually, the guy I could see, just throw out another name there quick, is I can't think of his name, but in Houston, I know he's only like a second-year guy in there, but
Nico Ryans.
If they take a big fall this year, he could be a surprise one. I don't think so, but I don't think they're going to take a fall. But if things go awry in CJ's sophomore year, I think they could cut ties.
Yeah, say I don't.
It would take a lot. It would take a lot. Don't get me wrong.
It would take a heck of a lot. It would take a lot. So now that we're at that moment, we can go ahead and kind of wrap up the show and kind of give our final thoughts. So James, what final thoughts you got for us?
Be sure to tune in for On Deck tomorrow, Kicking It tomorrow, I believe, Friday Entertainment Hour. And also, I have one thing from one of your favorites, Ace, Chauncey Billups. He revealed a time where a Blazers player posted a highlight of his dunk at halftime while they were down 18 points. And he mentioned to the player, "Hey, yo, bro, get the F back there and sit down. What is wrong with you?" It's just funny how times have changed, where Chauncey Billups, we knew as a player, is becoming a frustrated coach with these young kids in the NBA.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Yes, Chauncey Billups. Good old Chauncey. All right. Big B, what you got for us? Your final thoughts.
Tune in next week, hopefully, with all our shows. Me and Tim were under the weather both days. C2C Rankum did not air, but we do have a great set of topics for you guys on C2C Rankum this coming up week, which, now that I think about it, I probably will not be in. We'll have to look at that. But with that being said, just keep checking us out. And my money, we didn't get to it, but if I was a betting guy, I'm going to bet that the U.S. Olympic men's basketball team does not hit the gold medal this year.
Interesting pick. All right. Well, thank you all for watching, and thank you, James and Big B, and we will catch you all next week for another episode of Sports Minute. With that, have a good night.